love a bitch who kinda crazy. Fuck me like she love me, but she fight me like she hate me. In the end, that shit don't faze me. I fuck her like I hate her, but she know that she my baby.
Let's talk about high school.
Alright.
What was that like for you? Did you finish high school? Were you one of those kids?
Did.
Okay.
It's actually an interesting story. But high school was lit for me. Like I said, I grew up in Norfolk, and that shit was just fire, man. It was fun. And
were you an athlete?
No, I always liked sports when I was younger, but getting into high school is when I started getting into trouble and shit like that. So I think I played like my freshman year. I played basketball, but that was like the last sport that I played, I think. But before that, I played like everything. But anyway, so I went to like regular high school, and I was getting locked up and shit like that, and I fell behind. And in Norfolk, there's an alternative school, and everybody knows that that's like the dopest place. Like it's where, I don't know, it's just like, it's super laid back, it's super cool. You only have to go for half days. You can either go from like 8 a.m. to noon, or from noon to 3 or 4 p.m., something like that. And I love that shit because there was a teacher there named Wolfie, and she's one of the best people, just most genuine, real people I ever met in my life, man. And she actually cared about her students and shit like that. So like, I was on probation, and I would sleep in. I didn't have to go to school till noon, but I'd be out partying till 6 or 7. So then I'd oversleep. She'd show up at my house, be knocking on my door and shit, pick me up, take me to school, cause she knows like, if I'm in school, my PO is gonna fucking send me back to wherever. You know what I mean? Right. So she was a really good person. She got me through high school, and then I ended up. It was my senior year, and I had just turned 18, and I had like X amount of credits left. And she took me to the high school because she knew I wanted to come to Texas, and she supported my music like a lot. She argued to my probation officer before to let me do shows and like all types of cool shit. And she took me into the principal at the high school, and she talked him into letting me finish all of my school credits online down here in Texas. So yeah, so I came. He said that the only one that I had to do in school was a speech credit. And so my last day of school up there, I went into school. I gave like a speech on some shit, and I got my speech credits, and then I came down here and finished it all online. I actually graduated early, and everybody from my hometown be like, "Oh, Gringo, he's a fuck up. He kept getting locked up." But no, I graduated early.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on that.
Thank you.
That's an accomplishment.
That's the end of my formal education, though. So you know.
That's it. What your trouble? I guess the troubles you had in school.
Yeah.
Did that come from home? Was the influence
at home? Yeah, cause like when I was in like 7th grade, we had this little tiny house, my mom and my sister and I, and then my mom would always, I can't remember if she was working at the bar or just going there a lot, but either way, she would always bring the after party back to the house. It'd be like a Tuesday night, and there'd be like 40 people in there, you know what maybe not 40, but you know what I'm saying, like a bunch of adults drinking, and then like, I'm like 13, I don't want to miss out on this shit, so I'm just up chilling and just shit like that. And I think that when I saw that, then I was just kind of like, okay, like this lifestyle's lit, because when you're 13, that is lit, you know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of got into that mindset, and that's what I wanted to do. And I started just drinking and smoking and shit like that. But like, at the end of the day, I mean, I always went to school, but I was just like, I was never there. I'd go to school, and then I couldn't wait to be out. I wouldn't do shit while I was in school, unless it was like history. I like history a lot, but like, other than that, like, I just didn't do my shit, you know what I mean?
Right. What brought you to Texas?
Man, Chris Howard. Shout out Chris Howard. He actually owns this place, Wave House Studios, that we're in. I work here every day and manage the day-to-day operations here, but he went to school up in Lincoln, Nebraska. He's from Conroe, Texas, originally, from this neighborhood that we're in, actually.
Wow.
And he went up to Lincoln, Nebraska to go to college. He went to college for 1 semester there, and while he was there, he met a girl. I think her name was Kristen Winters, and her brother was on my basketball team, And so he told me about Chris's music. I hit him up. I'm like, bro, your music sounds good. He's like, I'll mix and master it for you. So I start sending him music. He starts mixing and mastering it, and then he moves back to Texas. I never even actually met him in person at this point. He was just mixing and mastering all my shit.
Right.
And he came back down to Texas, and we just kept in touch. And then when I turned 18, he flew me down here, and I lived with him for a little while, and then moved out and just kind of been living my own life down here ever since. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Chris.
Christopher Howard.
Who is Christopher to you?
Shit.
Your friend, business partner?
He like my brother, basically, you know? Yeah, I mean, I've known him for, like, he like my big brother, basically. Like, he's because when I came down here, he's the one that brought me down here, so it's like, he's the only person in this whole state that I knew, you know what I mean? And I'm, 1,200 miles from home or whatever, and yeah, so, like, anything that I ever needed, he was just always there for it, like, just little shit that you need when you're 18, and you know what I mean? Like, he's bonded me out of jail before. He's just like shit like that. Whenever you need somebody to be there for you, like, he's that guy. You know what I mean? So, and he's that guy for a lot of people, not just me. But he's just he's a good dude.
That's inspiring, right there.
Yeah, facts.
Okay, so let's talk about your music. So you're an engineer, sound engineer, rapper,
engineer,
and
producer, rapper. Yeah.
So what are you first? You're a rapper first?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say, and that's at least definitely what most people, when you say Gringo, they're like, oh, he's a rapper, you know what I mean? But lately, a lot more people would say engineer and producer, just because I've been running the studio. People have been in here every day, but for the most part, most people know me as a rapper. Yeah.
Do you like being a creator in front of the mic, or?
Well, like what we were talking about with writer's block earlier, that's what's kind of dope about it, is like, to me, I don't really get writer's block with beats, like, because you just throw sounds down and then just manipulate them until they sound dope, you know what I mean? But like with words, I get writer's block, so it just depends on the day. I think that, to me, writing and rapping is more satisfying. Like, if I write a dope ass song and record it, that's more satisfying to me than if I make a dope ass beat and sell it. You know what I mean? So it depends.
When did you start doing that? When did you start producing?
Well, like I said, technically I was producing first, because like I said, I had that Fruity Loops program. I made that beat, that R&B beat, and then made that song about that girl that pissed me off, and so technically I was on Fruity Loops first, but then I got heavy into rap, and I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, my beats weren't good enough to do anything with, you know? And then probably I've always just kind of like messed with it, but I didn't really get serious about it until like a year or two ago. And then I started just like making beats every day and looking up how to do this and how to do that and just studying. So I'd say like a couple years now, for real.
Songwriting, where do you go? Do you go to a deep place when you're writing music, or is it just like what's happening in the atmosphere?
Nah, to me it's just like, when I write, I try to make it from, like, I don't know, it's gonna sound wrong, but I try to make it from the most shallow place I possibly can. Like, I don't want to think about it at all, you know what I mean? And then, to me, that's just when the best shit comes out. Is just like, I just like to smoke, and then, I don't know, just chill and just write whatever flows out of my head. And then I'll write it and think like, okay, it sounds decent or whatever, and then I'll go back and read it, and like, that's what I was saying about like art is like a picture into somebody's mind, because then I'll go back and listen to the song I made 2 weeks later, and you can see exactly where my head was at when I wrote it. Like, whether I was, you know what I mean, happy, sad, angry, whatever, like, you can tell by my choice of words and the way it, like, the song could be about butterflies and rainbows, but if I was pissed off, I can tell by my choice of words, like how I worded shit, that I was pissed off that day. You know what I mean? It's weird, but yeah, I just try to not overthink it.
Let's talk about the success you've had so far.
It's all relative, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's people who would look at it as unsuccessful, and then there's people that look at it and they're like, I want to be him, you know what I mean? Like, and then it blows my mind, like, how many people come to me, like, on some, like, can I get some advice, or like, you know, I want to be like you, how do I get there type shit? Because I'm like, bro, if you're shooting for where I'm at, you're fucked, you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like I'm just getting started with it, so, but I am grateful for everything that has happened, but I just feel like it's mostly, I just wake up every day and make music, and then the fans kind of do the rest of it, the word of mouth and stuff like that. That really helps. So I just like the fan. I don't have a huge fan base, but the fan base that I do have is loyal as fuck. Like they're perfect, you know.
Right. So YouTube, because that's where, you know, your music platform obviously goes as far as music videos.
Right.
Is that where you have the most streams? Is on YouTube? Or where would you say what digital platform?
It really just depends. Like week by week, I probably get the most on like SoundCloud. No, they're all pretty even, I guess. It's like every week it's like a couple thousand on SoundCloud, a couple thousand on Spotify, a couple thousand on Apple Music. You know what I mean? And but YouTube is a crazy one because like I came up as a kid doing this shit, so I was learning everything as I go. So like I would do dumbass shit like forget my password, make a new YouTube, do this, do that. So like I got videos and shit spread out across like 15 different YouTube accounts. For a long time I had some other kid run my YouTube account, and he ran it like religiously for like years, put up videos to every song I made, and then just one day he just like fell off the face of the earth, and I didn't have the password to that shit. And so like I made a lot of irresponsible decisions young that probably screwed me over with YouTube. But like at the end of the day, everybody's on YouTube, and it's the best place that I know of to post a video right now. So you know what I mean. But it's hard to keep track of for sure.
Right. How long did it take for your most viewed video to get to that point?
What's happening, I think right now, is my only video over 100,000 views, and it's taken like a few years. I think it was, I don't know, it's probably taken like 4 years now. I'd have to look at what date it was uploaded, but around 4 years. And that, like, I don't know, like that came out along with like a series of videos, and that's what like a whole bunch of shit went down. Basically, like we were making all these videos, they were doing really well. What's happening, because they were doing really well on Facebook, because what's happening, hit like 90K views on Facebook, because we have figured out a good marketing technique that no longer, it's a whole long ass thing. But anyway, basically we got lucky and struck gold and start releasing these videos, and then they're all getting like anywhere between like 30 and 90,000 views on Facebook, and then we didn't even promote the YouTube at all. That's just like all the views on YouTube are just
from YouTube.
Yeah, well no, it's just from people seeing the song on Facebook and being like, what song is that, and going to YouTube and looking it up. So that's kind of how that shit got started.
What would you consider yourself as far as an artist? Would you, like, what category would you put yourself in? Would you put yourself
I'm a gangster rapper.
And that's where you put yourself in?
Yeah. Okay.
And do you see Drake that way? Is Drake one of your favorite artists?
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite artists. No, I'm just like, I don't really know. Like, it just depends how I wake up that day. You know what I mean? Like, I like to play guitar a lot. Lately, I've been trying to experiment with that more. And,
Are you self-taught?
Yeah. Well, like I said, my dad played, so he showed me a couple basics and stuff. And then I just kind of took off from there. But, I can't read music or anything like that. But, yeah, so it just depends how I wake up that day. But if I gotta classify it, I would just say a hip-hop artist. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't really get any more, like, there's no, like, niche that I feel like I fit into perfectly. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, just hip-hop.
Instruments. Are there...
This will be a short conversation. It's pretty much just guitar. But, no, I mean, since I started producing this shit, I play a little bit of piano and stuff. But, I had a drum set, like a cheap little like $100 Walmart drum set when I was a kid, and I played that sometimes, but I can like keep a normal beat, but I can't get too crazy with it.
Would you consider yourself a musician because you know how to make beats?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Do it on beat boards?
Even I don't care if you don't make it. I don't care if you don't play any instrument. If you can't play any keys, if you can hop on that computer and make a dope ass beat from scratch, you're a musician for sure.
Literally.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
I like that answer because I haven't heard anyone on the internet say anything about that. As far as people like, oh yeah, I just make beats, and I'm like, dude, you're technically
dude.
You're a musician.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you have to hear it and everything, and you know, people have beat patterns and people write that out.
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, technically, if you're making beats on a table with a pencil, you're a musician. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing, like, I don't know, like, yeah, you can't let people tell you that you're not a musician if you make music. Like, that sounds ridiculous.